Candles, fibs, crosses, EMAs. It's the tools of the day trade. Don't be a noob and trade on websites that don't give you BitBoy bonuses. Click the link in the description to get set up on Bybit or Phemex and get an insane sign-up bonus for being part of the Bit Squad. Leverage trade responsibly, but do it the right way on Phemex or Bybit. Bonus details in the links below.
BitBoy Crypto Morning TA. Good morning, everybody. It's December 14th, 2021. My name's Piano Matty B. That is Scaramucci's. This is your Morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets, where the sun's shining, where the wind's blowing. All the humble opinion of this piano. Zamboni. Bringing the data. FOMO index is at 21 from yesterday's 28. Bitcoin dominance is at 41.5%. 24-hour volumes at 102 billion. The overall market cap is 2.15 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Well, yesterday we briefly ended on the bearish cross of the weekly MACD. So I thought I'd drive down the historical behavior of a weekly MACD bearish cross. Let's start way back in November 12th of 2018, shall we? November 12th, 2018, Bitcoin was cruising around at a price of 6,500. Of course, people were very bearish, thought the sky was falling and Bitcoin was going to zero. After the bearish MACD cross, price fell to 3160. Let's call it a 50% drop. And it roughly took about 3 months till she crossed bullish again in February. At this point, we saw a rally from 3,400 up to 11.5K. Not including wicks, because we don't really want to say that word these days. Cross saw a dip of 50, followed by a rally of 340%. I'll take it. August 19th, 2019, Bitcoin cruising at a price of about 10K. Of course, and despite a 340% rally, people were very bearish, thought the sky was falling, and Bitcoin was going to zero. After the bearish cross, price fell to 53.50, not including the W word. Let's call it a 50% drop, and it roughly took about 6 months before we crossed bullish again. After regaining all the losses, a black swan toodalooed across our lives, and we had the crash of 2020. Now this, of course, was not a normal market condition, but we'll include it to be fair in an unfair, unjust, cruel world. March 2nd, 2020, Bitcoin cruising at a price of 8,500. Of course, and despite gaining back all of its losses on the last cross, people were bearish, thought the sky was falling and Bitcoin was going to zero. But remember, this had a black swan kicker to boot. We fell from 8,500 to 5,300, not including the W word. Let's call it a 38% correction, and it roughly took about a month and a half before we crossed bullish again and rallied from 7,700 all the way to 59K, not including W words, for a rally of 1,000%. So the cross saw a dip of 38, followed by a rally of 1,000. Sign me up, please. I'll take 2. May 3rd, 2021. Bitcoin was cruising along at a price of 58K, and despite being at what was once the speculation of fools and dreamer prices of 59K, people were bearish, thought the sky was falling and Bitcoin was going to zero. After the bearish cross, price fell to 34K. Let's call it a 50% correction. And it roughly took about 3 months before we crossed bullish again and rallied to 65K for a total of 100% rally. So the cross saw a dip of 50 followed by a rally of 100%. Sold. I'll take 2, Daryl. Just bring the truck around back. So here we are now, a couple weeks out from a bearish MACD cross, cruising at 47K. People are bearish, think the sky is falling and Bitcoin's going to zero. Now, based on prior historical timelines, and keep in mind these are not guarantees, they are just probabilities. Now, the probabilities of price action following another, let's call it 30%, is, well, she's quite high, historically speaking. That's where I got my 32K doom and gloom scenario that I took so much heat from about a week ago. But here's the good news. Historically speaking, the subsequent rallies, when we cross bullish again, can be anywhere from 100% to 1,000%. Now that's quite a range, and yes, I know goalposts are rather wide, but the math on that is a rally back too, and this would be worst case scenario, 64K. Best case scenario, 320K. And Daryl, I'll take either, preferably the latter. But I'm not picky, my friend. Now the question on everyone's mind is, Piano Matty B, how long, for the love of Pete? How long? And that's a great question. Thanks for asking. Remember, if I knew that for 100%, I'd be like Biff Tannen in Back to the Future. Now, based on historical timelines, it's anywhere from a month based on the Black Swan cross to 6 months. I know wide goalposts. I prefer to play the averages, put it at about 3 months, which could take us to early February 2022. But again, I'm not Biff Tannen. I'm just a number-crunching piano player from Winnipeg. Delivering the data over beds of music in hopes we can collectively understand where we are, where we've been, and perhaps where we're going. So remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected lead. That's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. BitBoy Crypto Morning Tea. Whoa, chit chit chit.